and he saw the same thing that I saw. And that was when I realized that I've been approaching this all wrong. In fact, I always loved working. It was never about money. I always liked learning, and I would pay to go learn for someone rather than getting paid for it. But at the same time, I thought work should be hard. That was the thing that I had programmed into me. So work has to be clearly something you don't enjoy doing. So I thought, well, what if you change all of these parameters? What if you create an environment where you can come in and learn from really smart people all the time? What if you can work on something you actually care about, opposed to something that makes money? What if you could have a lot of fun while doing it and not take it too serious? And we started talking, and we were bouncing ideas. And Martin, my co-founder, was like asking me, like, well, if you really could pick anything, like what would you pick? And I said to him, well, I'd probably pick music, but that's a terrible idea. And he said, well, why is that a terrible idea? And I said, well, it's a terrible idea because, the industry's going down the drains. It just doesn't work. It's piracy. It's all of these reasons. And he said, okay, but if one would fix it, how would one do? Well, it's kind of stupid. They're trying to regulate it. Clearly, you need to build a better product. That's the only thing that's going to work. So he said, okay, well, how are you going to do that? And it's like, well, I don't know, but maybe you could do this or that. Okay, well, how would that work? It's like, well, I don't know, but maybe you could do this and that. And how would you make money? Well, I think maybe you could pay out based on how much people were listening. I don't know. And then literally after going through why not 100 times, I started realizing that, yeah, why not? And why not give this a shot? And I told him from the beginning, that, hey, this is probably going to lose us a lot of money. I have a hard time seeing this ever being a sustainable business. But I'm in. Let's do this. And he said, great, let's do it. And while I was hesitating for some reason, he wasn't. So he was like, this seems fun, let's do it. And that gave me enough confidence where I kind of had found a new purpose again. And instantly I stopped responding to all the people who were trying to get me out in the evenings. And I was like, well, I got something to do. And then I went back to work again. And it was like pretty much a week from that moment where I felt like I'm happy again. I haven't felt this happy for, the better part of a year, because it was about a year when I was going through this transition of just having fun, being retired. First month was fun. 6 months in, depressing. 9 months in, am I ever going to get out of this depression? To then kind of a year in, finding something else that I truly look forward to. That felt crazy. And I honestly did not think we would succeed. But if we succeed, I knew it was going to be a big thing.
Something really interesting there that I could relate to a lot was this idea that you had a hypothesis about your happiness that had to fail you to know that it was not a valid hypothesis about happiness. And there's so many people, obviously, I'd assume it was more than half the population are currently pursuing a hypothesis they have about what will make them happy. That probably, and this is the thing I always wonder, is does it have to fail them for them to know that that's not the right pursuit? In my case, it did. It had to fail me.
Yeah.
I had to feel the anticlimax, and then I had to go and buy the big house, and then was there for 9 months and got out of it as quick as I could, and bought the car and then got rid of the car, and then just moved as close to the office as I could in a one-bedroom studio apartment.